Imagine standing in a stadium filled with 80,000 screaming fans. You are not even old enough to buy a beer in most countries, but the weight of an entire nation rests on your shoulders. Winning a World Cup is the ultimate dream for every football icon. Messi had to wait until he was 35. But a select few chosen ones conquered the entire world as teenagers. Today we break down the most unbelievable story in football, the youngest players to ever lift the World Cup trophy, and the new chosen one who is currently on the hunt to break a 68-year-old record. The year is 2018, Russia. The world of football is gathered for the ultimate tournament, and the stage is set in Kazan for a historic round of 16 match between France and Argentina. It was a game destined to go down as one of the most spectacular, high-scoring dramas in World Cup history. But on this specific afternoon, the narrative wasn't about Lionel Messi trying to secure his legacy. No, the spotlight was brutally stolen by a 19-year-old kid from the Parisian suburbs, Kylian Mbappé. With an innocent yet terrifying brutality, he sprinted through the veteran Argentinian defense as if they were training cones. In the 11th minute, he picked up the ball in his own half and just ran. He hit a mind-blowing top speed of 38 kilometers per hour, leaving Javier Mascherano in the dust, before being brought down for a penalty. Antoine Griezmann scored it, but Mbappé wasn't done. In the second half, with the score tied at 2-2, he took over. Within just 4 minutes, he scored 2 clinical, lightning-fast goals, completely destroying Argentina's dreams and single-handedly sending the vice-world champions packing. But his true masterpiece came in the grand final in Moscow against Croatia. Facing the immense pressure of a nation's expectations, the teenager showed nerves of pure steel. In the 65th minute, he picked up a pass from Lucas Hernandez, took a touch, and unleashed a razor-sharp long-range strike into the bottom corner to seal a historic 4-2 victory. In that exact moment, the football world witnessed a historic milestone. Mbappé became the first teenager to score in a World Cup final since the legendary Pelé 60 years prior. A new prince had claimed the world stage, lifting the golden trophy before he was even old enough to rent a car without his parents' permission. While attacking superstars like Mbappé dominate the media spotlight, there is a completely different side to this story. Achieving glory up front as a young forward requires genius, but surviving in defense requires something entirely different. It requires the mental maturity and cold-blooded discipline of a 35-year-old veteran. In modern tournament football, a single mistake by a young defender can destroy an entire nation's dream instantly. Coaches almost never trust teenagers in the backline. That is exactly why the forgotten story of Giuseppe Bergomi is so utterly unbelievable. In 1982, he traveled to Spain with the Italian national team as an absolute nobody, just 18 years and 6 months old. He was a kid with a thick mustache who looked older, but had barely any professional experience. But then disaster struck. Italy's star defender Fulvio Calavati got injured during the tournament, and the coach had no choice. Bergomi's time had come. Instead of cracking under the pressure, the 18-year-old stepped onto the pitch without a single hint of fear. In the semi-final against Poland and the grand final against the legendary West Germany team, he delivered a defensive masterclass. He was assigned to mark Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, the reigning Ballon d'Or winner, and completely neutralized him. With a tactical discipline that shocked the football world, Bergomi shut down the most dangerous attackers on the planet. Italy became world champions and the teenage defender became immortal. 12 years later, in 1994, the world witnessed another teenage champion. A 17-year-old striker from Cruzeiro named Ronaldo Nazario lifted the trophy with Brazil in the United States. The world was hyped to see him, but unlike Bergomi, the future phenomenon didn't play a single second of the tournament. The legendary duo of Romario and Bebeto held down the front line, meaning Ronaldo had to learn purely from the bench. It proves that while some teenagers win by watching, the true icons of youth had to bleed on the pitch. But all of these incredible modern achievements completely fade in comparison to a monument built in the summer of 1958 in Sweden. A monument built for eternity. Brazil arrived at that tournament deeply traumatized by their tragic final loss on home soil in 1950, a national heartbreak known as the Maracanazo. The pressure on the Seleção was unbearable. In their squad was a slender, unknown 17-year-old boy whose name nobody outside the streets of Santos could even pronounce. Edson Arantes do Nascimento, better known to his friends as Pele. He didn't even start the first 2 games due to a knee injury, but once he was subbed in, what this boy did next was pure, unadulterated magic. In the quarter-final against Wales, he scored the only goal of the match. Then, in the semi-final against the powerhouse French team, he shocked the stadium by scoring a flawless hat-trick in just 23 minutes of play. But he saved his ultimate magic for the grand final against the hosts, Sweden. In front of a hostile crowd, Pele doubled down. He scored a goal that is still shown in every single World Cup intro today, controlling a looping cross with his chest, calmly flicking the ball completely over an onrushing defender, and smashing a clinical volley into the net. Later he added a brilliant header to make it 5-2. At exactly 17 years and 8 months old, Pele crowned himself the youngest World Cup winner in history. The iconic images of the teenager crying uncontrollably on the shoulders of his teammates after the final whistle went around the world. It wasn't just a victory, it was the birth of the king. A legendary record was set that day, one that has stood like an impregnable, untouched fortress for nearly 7 decades. For decades, sports analysts and fans across the globe thought this specific record would never be in danger again. The physical demands of modern football became too high for teenagers to dominate at a World Cup. Until now. Cut to the present day. The football world is rubbing its eyes in absolute disbelief because a new, magical heir to the throne has emerged from La Masia, Lamine Yamal. What this kid is pulling off for both Barcelona and the Spanish national team completely defies all known laws of football physics. He plays with the intelligence of a seasoned playmaker while possessing the explosive dribbling of a young superstar. He already holds every single age record you can possibly break. Youngest scorer in La Liga, youngest scorer in Euro history, and the youngest debutant for Spain. And here is the unbelievable mathematical miracle that has historians sweating. Since Pele won his title in 1958 at the age of 17 years and 249 days, Lamine Yamal has his historically absolute last chance to dethrone the king at this tournament. Because of his birth date, this specific World Cup is his only window. Spain enters the competition with one of the most cohesive high-value squads on the planet and belongs to the absolute tightest circle of title favorites. If the Spanish team reaches the final and Yamal works his magic on the right wing, a 68-year-old record once considered completely unbreakable could actually fall before our eyes. We are not just watching another tournament, we are standing on the very eve of a historic event that could change the football record books forever. Pele's record has stood for nearly 7 decades. Is Lamine Yamal truly chosen to rewrite history? Or will the pressure of the World Cup be too much? Drop your exact predictions in the comments below. If you love football storytelling, make sure to smash that subscribe button. This is 90 Minutes Plus, and we see you in the next story.